Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the mid-March 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Virgo. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you the meaning of the tarot cards as well as any intuitive messages that I receive. I do recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on. Also, if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me a lot with what I'm trying to do. And also, when you subscribe, you'll be notified when I post videos in the future. And I do typically post a few Virgo videos a month. With that being said, let's go and jump in and get started. In column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close for you. Column 2 is just going to be general, what's going to happen through the end of March. We're going to do a money column, a love column, and in the 5th and final column, we'll do a message from our future self or spirit guides. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions, a healing crystal, and a healing note for you. But let's see here what we have in terms of summary card. We have the card Heat. Heat's a good card. It means things are like heating up, things are moving for you. It's likely we've had some pretty good movement in the last few weeks, Virgo, but let's see what messages I can give you. It's a pretty good spread right off the bat there. The first card that we have is the Star card. The Star card is about being renewed. It gives you hope, it renews your energy. Oftentimes there's inner clarity associated with this card, so you might be more clear on something that you weren't clear on before. This is also a card of like miracles. You might have felt like a miracle has happened. And with the big star at the top here, this is also a card of being in the spotlight, so you could have received some sort of recognition. But I do feel like you're moving in the right direction. Your energies are being renewed. You have a really positive outlook right now. The next card we have is the World card. The World card is a card of completing a lesson or goal. You see the circle here. It's literally like the world coming full circle. Very much so a card of completion. So likely you've finished something and now you're moving into this new stage or you're working on this new thing, Virgo. With the World card, it could also be a card of travel, so you could have had some recent travel as well. The next card we have is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is a card sometimes of feeling unfulfilled. So for some of you, you could have been in a position where you weren't feeling unfulfilled. But if you read this top to bottom, we have unfulfillment, we're saying that's over, and now we're being renewed. So for those of you that are feeling unfulfilled, I think this is a really good sign. This also could be a card of surprise gifts. So some of you could have gotten a gift that you just weren't expecting. That's what this 4th cup coming in is. So it could also be surprise gifts. But let's see what messages we have. The first clarifying card we have is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is very free-spirited and very creative. I feel like some of you have been like almost like locked down and you haven't been able to be that creative person you want to be or be that flexible, free-spirited person you want to be. And with the Star card, again, that's renewal. So this is like saying you have the ability to do that and be that now. The next card we have is the Ace of Cups. Anytime we have an Ace card, it is a card of newness. But with the Ace of Cups, this is a card typically associated with a new baby, relationship, proposal, marriage. Some of you could be entering into a new relationship. You could have found out that you are having a baby. You could be into a new business proposal too. So there's something that's ending. Maybe that's being single or that's being engaged. Now you're married. Or maybe it's being non-parent, now you are parent. So those make sense together as well. The next card we have is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is a card of a very fast lifestyle change. You see how quickly the horse and rider are moving on this card. So again, this is about something moving, happening fast. Makes sense because we do have the Heat card. Again, things are starting to move for you. So things are moving really quickly. Again, if you're in this stage of unfulfillment, you can move forward quite quickly. Or in terms of the surprise gift, it could have been something that like kind of came out of the blue. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is what's going to happen through the end of March. So just kind of general what's coming. We have the card Space. So some of you might feel like you need to have a little bit more space in the next few weeks. Give yourself time and space to think is the message that's coming through there. But let's continue to read through and see what messages I can provide you. I do want to call out the wand energy that's coming through with these set of cards. Wands are fire signs, so keep fire signs in mind. And it's also very much so a creativity type card. But again, wand energy is pretty strong there. The first card we have is the Nine of Wands. I like the Nine of Wands because this is a card of keeping and maintaining boundaries. It's also about being persistent. Interestingly enough, we have the space card. Remember, that's giving yourself space. With the Nine of Wands, this person built like a fence around them. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a wall because a wall would block everything out, where this fence is only filtering in the good things, blocking out the bad. So you could be putting some space, setting some boundaries between you and another person, which is actually really beneficial for you. Again, this is saying that you may need space, time, and space to think. The next card that we have is the Justice card. The Justice card is a cause and effect card. It's a win-win card. I'm getting that you're going to find out some news. There's something you've been waiting for, some final decision, some sort of truth that you've been seeking. And I do think that'll come to you in the end of March. Not quite sure, again, what that is specific for you. Then at the bottom we have the Ten of Wands. If you look at this card, this person is hunched over, they're carrying all these wands, and they're like crying into the Ten of Wands. They're really overwhelmed, Virgo. You have lots going on. This is a card of stress, exhaustion, too many burdens. This is a good indicator to like watch out and make sure you're not burned out. Totally ties back to that space card as well, giving yourself kind of time and space away, so you're resting, recovering. Let's see what other cards we have. The first clarifying card we have is the Judgment card. The Judgment card is a card of clarity. Give you a final decision, but this is like favorable for you. So I think this is very clearly saying like setting these boundaries and giving yourself a little bit of space is going to be very beneficial for you going into the end of the month. The next card that we have is the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is an interesting card. If you look at the bottom there, those Eight of Cups are stacked quite nicely, but yet this person is still walking away from them. So with the Eight of Cups, this is a card of like withdrawing, retreating, and potentially moving on from something. Again, you're going to be kind of pulling back, setting boundaries, giving yourself space. This is just echoing that. It's on top of the Justice card. Again, this is saying pulling back and giving yourself a little bit of time and space is going to be really beneficial for you, Virgo. The next card that we have at the bottom here is the Lovers card. The Lovers card is about deep relationships and deep love. For those of you that are feeling stressed, exhausted, I feel like you do need to ask for help possibly. I think you'll be well supported by your kind of friend circle and any family or love relationships that you have. So you will be well supported. You can look for some support here. This can also be a card of making a decision. So the Lovers card, a lot of people just associate with love, but it is sometimes having a choice. So this could also be telling you that like you need to make a choice to be less stressed and not carry so many burdens and not try and do so many things at once, Virgo. Now we're going to go into our next column, which is anything related to money. So think job, career, finances, businesses you run, businesses you own, investments you have. The first card that we have is the Chariot. The Chariot's a card of action and change. Somebody once described this to me as the vroom vroom card, and it means that things are moving. This could also be like you're on a journey. I do think that there will be some change in the way you're investing or the way that you're working. Something of that sort. Definitely change coming. Movement. Some of you could be getting a new car as well. Oftentimes that's a card associated with a new vehicle. And I do say that in this column because a new vehicle could be an investment for you as well. The next card that we have is the Lovers card. The Lovers card is a card of deep partnership, deep love. Again, having a choice. I do think in this terms, there's going to be like a new business relationship for you, like a new coworker or a new boss, or potentially a new business partner. The next card that we have is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of rivalry, challenges, potentially an obstacle that's coming up. The interesting thing with the Five of Wands is they're not fighting with swords, they're fighting with wands. So when I see this is like small bumps in the road, not something major. So just keep in mind that there may be like a small conflict or bump in the road related to work for this month. But let's clarify and see what messages I can give you. We have the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is very much a card of partnership and proposal. It can be a love card too, marriage, but again, I think there is some sort of new business relationship coming into play, and that's solidifying this again. Things are definitely moving and shifting for you. Maybe you've been looking for a business partner for a really long time, or maybe you've been looking to hire a new employee for a long time, and this person's finally coming. It's in motion for you at this point. The next card that we have is the Star card. The Star card is a card of renewal, hope, clarity. With the star at the top too, this could be about being in the spotlight, so you could be getting recognized at work as well. But I do think that this tied with the Lovers card, again, that new partnership, I feel like this partnership will kind of really renew you and give you those energies. It'll give you hope. You've almost been waiting for this partnership. The next card that we have is the Chariot. We had the Chariot earlier. For those of you who've watched my readings before, I always like when cards come up the same time in the same row, because it's kind of like the universe saying, like, I meant what I said kind of deal. So again, things are moving. These are going to be small conflicts. I'm not super worried about it. Again, things are in motion and you're going into this new direction that's going to really renew you. And this is like the partnership that you've been waiting for. The next column we're going to take a look at is love. So anything related to love, think marriage, children, relationship, single, married, family, really anything that we associate with love. The first card that we have is the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles, anytime we have an ace card, is a card of newness. This typically indicates new job, raise, promotion, investment, income. For those of you that are in a relationship, this could be your spouse getting a promotion as well. Or you could be like moving in together, which is kind of changing the way that you assess your finances. So you're going from like a 1-income household to a 2-income household. The next card that we have is the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords it's a card sometimes of low feeling. This can be heartbreak, divorce, loss. Some of you could be ending a relationship potentially, but oftentimes when I see this card, this is like a card of needing to heal from something as well. So keep that in mind, that there may be like a past relationship that you're not quite over, Virgo, that you do need to address. The next card that we have is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is a very healing, supportive type card. Again, I do feel like for some of you, there's just some healing that hasn't happened yet that needs to happen. And you could be in a relationship and be in a happy and healthy relationship, and there still could be something that you need to recover from. So just keep that in mind. But for some of you, there's definitely some healing that should happen. Let's clarify this column though and see what messages we get. The first card that we have is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is about self-imposed restrictions. So if you look at this person, they're blindfolded and their arms are bound down, but then there's swords stuck in the background all around them. So this person could very easily like scoot back and cut themselves free. So I feel like some of you have been restricting yourself. It's interesting because it's on the Ace of Pentacles, so if this is just in terms of newness, maybe even new relationship, I feel like some of you have been hindering yourself from getting into a new relationship if that's what you want. Or you could even be like stopping yourself from ending a relationship even when that's what you want. So make sure that you're clear on what you want so you can action on it. Like if you want to be in a relationship, make sure you're going out and meeting people or being on dating apps. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're taking the appropriate action for what you want, Virgo. The next card that we have is the Empress card. The Empress card is a card of creation and abundance. I feel like this is a reminder that you can create whatever you want, Virgo. But there are things that you need to heal and get over. Again, with that Three of Swords, sometimes it's about like taking the sword out of our own heart type energy and doing some healing on our own. So realize that you can create whatever you want, abundance, love, all of those things with the Empress card, but some healing does need to happen for you. This is also a card of pregnancy and fertility, so for some of you, there could be a baby in the future. We did acknowledge that a little bit earlier too, so some of you could be pregnant or you could be becoming a grandparent. The next card that we have is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a card of complete, like rock bottom type feelings. You see this person is laying down. There's lots of swords hanging in there. Again, this is just echoing some of that healing that needs to happen. There was some pretty significant hurt. It could have happened recently or it could have been a while back, though we do need to heal from. Again, this is a healing card, a supportive type card. So this is just acknowledging at one point in time, whether it was recent or not recent, that your feelings were really hurt and that you need to work through that. Now let's take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. We have the card Alliance. Interesting, I haven't seen that one in a while. So Alliance is like making sure you're coming together with the appropriate people. That's the message that's coming through. This could tie into this new business relationship we were talking about, but let's see what messages we've got. And again, this column is like a message that you can take into the month, the end of month. Let's see here. The first card that we have is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands has a couple different meanings. This is very much so a family and friends card though. So when we think about Alliance, again, make sure you have the right set of family and friends, that right set of support. The Four of Wands is also a card of celebration, so there definitely could be some celebration happening for you in the end of March. The next card that we have is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is very active. It's new project, new idea. We did acknowledge that there's definitely some new things on the horizon for you if they haven't started happening yet. This alliance or this reunion with family and friends could also be what's taking you to this new beginning. And then we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is very self-sufficient and very honest. It's interesting enough, so when people think self-sufficient, they think alone, and that's not always necessarily what it means. You can have a great circle of support and still be self-sufficient. But I would say make sure that you're being honest with this alliance. Like let's say you're going to start a business together. Make sure you're really clear in what you want and make sure they're really clear in what you want. So if you go into this business partnership, you're aligned. Same thing with a relationship. Maybe you're even getting into a relationship, be clear on what you want so they can be clear on what they want. But honesty is a big thing. So as we get into whatever this alliance is, make sure that you are clear there. Now let's clarify this column here. We have the Knight of Pentacles at the top there. The Knight of Pentacles is very reliable, very patient, very hardworking. I do think that this alliance, this family or friend is going to be working very hard for you, and in return you'll be working very hard for them. This is like a true alliance. It's well balanced. The next card we have is the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is a card of low feelings. If you look at this card, the person is dressed all in black and their head's hanging down. And there are 3 cups that are knocked over, and we're almost like grieving those cups or feeling sad about those cups, or there's like loss or regret associated with it. It's interesting enough, I feel like at some point in time you thought you had missed your opportunity on whatever this thing is, Virgo. But with the Page of Wands, it's very clearly saying that there is something new coming in. So while you thought you've missed your opportunity, you haven't. So keep that in mind. Then at the bottom here, we have the Three of Swords. We had the Three of Swords earlier in this reading. The Three of Swords, again, is making sure that we're recovering, taking care of our feelings, moving on. Again, that's pulling that sword out of our own heart so we can do some healing. And the Queen of Swords, again, is that honesty. So if you're feeling a certain way, be very clear and be very honest in the way that you're feeling, Virgo, is my recommendation there. Now, at this point in time, if you haven't done so already, you can pause the video and think of 3 questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck and give you 3 yes or no answers. So let's take a look here. Question number 1, we have the 9 of Diamonds. This is number 39 card. That's going to be a yes. Question number 2 is the Ace of Diamonds. This is number 9 card. That's going to be a no. And question number 3 is the 4 of clubs. This is number 4 card. That's going to be a yes as well. So we have yes, no, yes for you. If you watched your video earlier this month, we did pull a card from the Healing Stone deck, which is a crystal to carry with you for the month of March. You had calcite. Calcite's really good for courage and growth. It helps you move like out of that kind of lethargic state. It gives you drive and it gives you new ideas. And then last but not least, we're going to pull a card from the Healing Notes deck. And this is going to be a healing note. You know, we can always use more healing, Virgo. This says, live your life from your heart, share from your heart, and your story will touch and heal people's souls. Thank you so much, Virgo, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how this video resonates with you. If you haven't done so already, again, please do subscribe to my channel. That helps me greatly, and you'll be notified when I post videos in the future. But I do hope you have a fabulous rest of your March, and thank you, Virgo.